Welcome to another episode of Live with Lizzie, coming to you from beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. Today, I am bringing to you several poems that I selected from my Wednesday poem series, which is normally behind a paywall. But I would like to share some of those with you, as well as to share a couple chapters of my recently published book, Give It a Home, which is a collection of 100 sonnets that I wrote over the course of a very difficult year. So let's start with some of these Wednesday poems. Wrong Side of the Earth. I ran away from home, wide feet flying, until I reached the wrong side of the earth. I fled as many miles as I could without joining NASA. I wasn't born a rich white boy after all. Run, 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 run. Is it enough? Now, all is safe and soft when I look at the world outside. Yet, focus pulls when vision turns within to what's left behind, where all the memories are still coming to understand the lay of the land, how time has passed, how barren dirt evolved to shaggy grass, how there are not two worlds, within and without, only one world, a disco ball and its stately collection of mirror glass. Patronizing vocal tone is my birthright fentanyl haze. I know it isn't healthy, but it was the warm water of my mother's belly, and the human body craves scents familiar from early days. My small face learned the fact of hot breath, something part of the speech of love. Teeth were for snarls and fear, and for holding in the hiss of anger until later when it could explode for real. I am the grown, completed dream that was promised to women who boarded desperate ships only for their lack of other options. Teen girls bound for husbands whom they did not hope to love. Babies who cast their brave genes into the future. Such blooming children. Girls who hoped something better would come, both from them and for them. The dream is charging in hard now. It comes in at a breakneck run. My ancestors would marvel at the power that I've won. Do not love me. Please do not love me. My ribs were not made with hinges. If you open me and remove my heart, it happens with violence. You leave me spatchcocked, sternum unlocked, closer than ever before to the two-dimensional world. I cannot be your girl. Please do not love me. My bones will forget their form if they melt for you. I am no snail, I grow no shell, and your devotion leaves me softened in the rain, leaves me crawling for you so often that it cannot be healthy, cannot be something for my gain. Please do not love me. Do not force me to use the parachute I keep unfurling and packing, unfurling and packing, unfurling and packing again. There is no testing its seams, only trusting and release, defense and attack, dry land and the seas. Please do not love me. I am origami paper, and my skin will not forget where you touch. I will show it all, whether you crumple me or make me a bird so delicate among the rough. Please do not love me unless you will take away every drop of my blood and refill my yearning veins with yours, unless you will press my ear to your chest so I can hear the waves, unless you also know that the moon does not show its face when you do not sleep next to me, unless my cool breath is what you crave. Do what you must, just please do not love me. The wisdom to know the difference. Today, I found out I have to move, so I cried for a few minutes. Then I went downstairs to the kitchen, cooked some pancetta, fried a fat chicken breast in the grease, chopped it with some Brussels sprouts, threw it all in a bowl with some chipotle mayo, and tossed it until I had chicken salad to eat. There's a trick to it. My trusty ride died a few days ago. It ran full speed right until it burned out. It passed in the middle of the commute, far from the end of its natural life. The folks at the shop tactfully told me that rehabbing my pink sticker clad steed would cost more than a good used replacement, then left it to me to choose my own way. I loved them for the lack of pressure and the time to think the shop guys allowed me. In those moments, I thought of my father and his parade of decayed pickup trucks, bodies already well worn at the point they reached his hands, and experienced him, a man who thought he could stop how time rusts. I saw myself tripping down that same path, always making do, having to recall how there's a trick to it, which is really poverty language for we can't afford to repair this, which is unbearable, so we'll pretend it's a skill set others should envy to make our way of life work. I politely declined the repair and looked instead for a new scooter to ride, something that would carry me down the road instead of asking me to bear its weight. Do less, be gentle. I'm supposed to be asleep right now, but I can't help but feel that something missing must be found. The wind sends me a late night text. It lights up my dark room and says, when you are weary, sleep and fuck the haters who ply you with caffeine. You know when you've had enough. If you were meant to be wide eyed, you would not feel empty. You would be filled with daylight. If sleep invites you to her home, attend. She puts on a lovely spread. The train clicks gently on its track. Do less, be gentle, do less, be gentle. And as it rattles over the bridge, do less, do less, do less, do less, do less. I'm supposed to be asleep right now. The mother train rocks me in the best way she knows how. I changed my identity. There is a new core, a gorgeous blend of all those who carried me, all those faces and voices I kept on retainer for times when I found myself in danger. I don't need extremes like those anymore. I built levees that hold back unreasonable tides, and now I walk on peaceful beaches. I wash my life in respect for myself, and when I love me so well, I cannot help but love the folks nearby. I want to bite them like peaches. I'm supposed to be asleep right now. My job is to stay slow, to be the stone in the river, slowly changed over time, something to hold on to in a moment of panic, so steady in the tide. When we cry out in fear, we crave someone to soothe us, not someone to scream back in the night. I'm supposed to be asleep right now, but how does a body doze when it feels buried underground? My flesh hugs my bones, climbs like vines, embraces muscles like lovers, folds and flexes and flourishes. If I be forced to birth myself, then let me do it on all fours. Pass me a mirror pointed at my pussy so I can see it. If I have to crack my own pelvis to escape into freedom, then so be it. The rule book says a woman's hair is her crowning glory. So what does it make me if my crown is forged like a man's? It's sharp with jewels I tore out of cave walls with my own hands. I melted down silver cloud linings, sized it just for me, made it perfectly balanced and so damn flattering. Had enough metal left, made myself some brass knuckles and a ring. I'm supposed to be asleep right now, but I can't rest now that I have my crown. Here with you. I am sitting here with you because how else would our northern hands meet? How else could I behold the truth? Who else ever could make me feel this alive? How else could our maple sweet lips join so greedily? Riverbanks barely hold the waters into which you dive. There is no other nation my body would choose in which to sink down its strong roots. I am sitting here with you, so thoroughly consumed, so captured as the minutes twist. The only screen time that I crave is your kind eyes. It's the light between them that makes me gorgeous. This scene with you, I could gorge on it. That's my wish. I could mainline your deep kiss, but I want 100 years, so moderation it is. I am sitting here with you while the quiet kitchen hums expectant, in the moments when I don't feel like I deserve to feed my body. On those tense nights, I remember your hands at the stove, intent, how they move like ripples on lakes, and the joy it brings you when your from scratch flavor attack makes me smile. I ignore the poison inside my mind and I eat. I am sitting here with you, toes splashing the oasis between two loud songs. There is shade in this place, and all these trees aching with fruit cannot be wrong. Just for a moment, we ravage nectarines that drip. Then it's back on the floor, my hands on your shoulders, yours on my hips. I love the way the beat drops hard and you tighten your grip. I am sitting here with you only because our feet are exhausted from adventure, only because we turned every stone in the world. Elders all screamed that the land had burned, but we had to see for ourselves. We had to be sure. Just for a while, we share a pot of tea, fresh brewed, before we burst back out the door to run wild and eat the sunset view. For folks just joining, I'm reading for your pleasure tonight some poems that I usually keep behind the paywall. So thank you so much for joining. Streets make no sense. I am the witch who was promised to Cambridge long ago, back when Harvard Square was in Newtown all those years ago. The ox pasture, the pine swamp field, the cow common, the marsh. My sister ancestors lived where the clear Charles River flowed. Less clear with time, both river and simplicity of life. Pollution likes to hide the knowledge that we seek to know. I'll ride no ducking chair. I'll bet those women said it too, right up until the moment when their slim wrists felt the rope. I am living the what would I have been timeline, the one where I have no children, the one where I don't get betrothed. Perhaps there was a woman running wild along the Charles who had brown hair and green eyes like me, one who wore men's clothes. Power invades like a weed, picks its way through cracks in walls, seeks the least resistant way into quiet garden rows. Sister, how could you give my name as fare for redemption? I pulled your rosy babies from your between the legs hole. Boston witches went underground after Goody Glover. Street level shame will crush as completely as heavy stones. The clan begs holy, reaches for the hands of those they lost. It's possible to be correct even when you're alone. I fly across the town, my skirts unmuddied, wheels unmired. My scooter's not a broomstick, but same spiritual bones. Cambridge and Somerville, your streets make no sense, and still I cannot imagine calling any other cities home. Call me a child. Call me a child. I must prioritize my skin's comfort. I cannot abide sensory nightmares. I want comfort. Am I a little girl for being good with animals, for slowing down, for knowing which green leaves contain real worth? Root vegetables are hiding, waiting to be nourishment, in storage in dark cupboards tucked into the chilly dirt. There is a shell that hardens over the soft flesh of youth, intended to provide safety, an attempt to preserve. Fresh fingerprints are qualified to clutch at special things. It does not take a grown hand to pull magic from the earth. The giving air sometimes loses its patience and revolts. Best find some cover when you spy the clouds forming dark curls. If soup burns the body at the same time that it gives life, how does the mind reconcile it? What is the lesson learned? Thin hair on arms reaches for sky in radical protest, supported at grassroots level by goosebumps trained to serve. The creatures of the sea have cousins who live on the land. There is no way to unite the relatives, and it hurts. The conch does not begin as something used to gather crowds. Rather, it starts as a traveler craftsman who makes pearls. One wave washes its sibling clean, then hurtles for the shore, a pioneer with grand plans to learn how this earth unfurls. A ridge on the thumb and a puckered mouth across the palm. The hand of Lizzie Coe does not look like a pretty girl's. Rind. Lemon, you have followed me through all of my living days. You cling to me, a memory, reminder of my days. You lived on my hands as soap suds from Joy dish detergent, in healthy squirts into a sink of hot water for plates. You sat on the rim of my father's tall glass of iced tea, indulgence so small, just a little burst of citrus taste. I heard your name spoken with caution near the used car lot. I was taught to narrow my eyes, told not to take the bait. You lent your rind to poppy seed muffins to my delight. A brightness married to the dark makes a powerful case. Teen girl magazines told me to work you into my hair for natural blonde streaks. Thank goodness that was just a phase. I squeezed you by the slice into beer to make a shandy, something to get me drunk without making me pull a face. For some time you were nothing but tedious work to me. I sliced you, juiced you by the pile in my bartending days. In the pandemic, pre-vaccine, worked at a bakery. We sold produce too. Were you there? That time shrouded in haze. You rest in a bowl in the kitchen. Thin wire lives on wood, a cradle for you as you wait to become lemonade. Your skin holds the record of all the things that I have done. When all the lives of Lizzie Coe are known, may folks show grace. The next poems are a 3-part series. Part 1, Car Seat. I remember my mother picking me up from preschool. I would have been 4 years old. It was the very early 90s, and some things have changed since then. She sat me in the front of the car. No booster, no car seat. I felt so grown up. My friends all had to ride in the back like babies. I felt special that she came to get me, that she did not forget. One day I pondered, spine curled against a seat too large, a back that would bend unruly in later years. If I don't put on my seatbelt, will she notice? So, I just sat and did not fumble with the buckle as I always did. She never fastened it for me. I had to learn. I just let the belt hang, so high dangling above my little head. She put the key in the ignition, turned it, and drove away. Part 2, Cookies. Oatmeal raisin chocolate chip, sometimes with a hint of mint. A couple shakes from a bottle of extract, the one that sat on the highest kitchen shelf. So exotic to me, the idea of customizing a cookie, of having any agency. Always cookies in the jar when I was young. Time spent together in quiet cooperation with Mom, a sweet reward for peaceful behavior. She taught me to portion the flour carefully, spooning it into the measuring cup with a light touch, so as not to pack it down and use too much. You want those cookies to rise, after all. Then I got older. I grew tits. We stopped baking cookies. She started gaping at my body with envy and disgust. Once my period began, I got no more child treatment. I was a woman interloper, intrusive in the way I occupied space in the room, unforgivable when noticed by men who looked past her. I was 12. I wanted the cookies. I wanted a mom. I didn't want every word out of my mouth to set off a bomb in her mind, but there was no avoiding the fight, only inviting it. She held me responsible for adult maturity because she needed to be the child. She did not get what she needed young, and so, in her adulthood, she tried to create someone who could soothe her. First terraforming my father, then bearing my brother, then finally making me, a statue she could carve fully into her likeness so as to try again. A doll contains no will. She broke the mirror that would not cooperate, then raged that it reflected in shards crazed. Part 3, Lawnmower. One day, when I was about 13, so short in stature, so skinny, Mom told me to mow the lawn. I had never done it before, never received instructions. I had watched from my second floor bedroom, Rapunzel with a bob, as my father pushed the mower, but that was the extent of my experience. This was news to Mom, although she did not herself have the good knowledge of how to teach me to mow. She was frustrated that I did not already know. Cursory commands seemed like guesses more than plans, then I set to work. It was so loud, I didn't understand how anyone could bear it unaffected. I cringed, but it was no use. She had said nothing about ear protection. My father tore around the side of the house, eyes wide. Stop, stop, the blade is loose, turn it off. Turns out I was right to be affronted by the noise. It was louder than normal because I wasn't supposed to use it. Remember, it's not a toy. The blade had been loosened for maintenance, but because it was a power struggle for Mom to get her way, there was no scene in which she could admit her mistake in pushing me to get the mowing done that day. No apology for confusion or scare. No there. Just a sullen stare at me, then eyes straight back to the TV screen. Against her throat. Boundaries are what she will not allow against her throat. Their strong, wide branches grown from her spine, holding her afloat. The shape of life is traced by the waters from which she drinks. I am everything you need to feel whole, he said. Take note. What stands between a claw and the vein, bruised purple in sun, but a connection built over time as seaworthy boats? She looks all around her and sees no safe harbor, no arms larger than hers to seek, no wiser hands for her to hold. This does not mean she is alone, it just means that she's grown. Now she has become the wrinkled hands that guard younger bones. She is the new sprout after the rowdy apocalypse, the obstinate proof of life, the story that must be told. Splitting her stem to grow leaves did mean crying at midnight, but after the seam healed, she smiled and took the mother's role. Long miles of trust yawn loudly between strangers and her neck. The tickets allow her to search the pockets of your coat. The borderlands are run through with footpaths paved in her blood. Bring your longest, warmest winter coat. The nights get so cold. The boundaries, the wide branches, the safe harbor, the test. Each one a hand that Lizzie crafted for herself to hold. So those were a bunch of poems that usually live behind the paywall. If you consider opting for a paid subscription, you'll get something like that every Wednesday in your email. So if you dug that, maybe consider upping your subscription to a paid one. I set it as cheap as I could set it on Substack, so not trying to gouge anybody by any means. All right. So now we're going to move on to some older stuff out of my recently published book, Give It a Home. You can find this on my website, thelizziecoShow.com, which is where all of my Substack goodies are situated. It's 100 sonnets that I wrote over a very rough year of my life. And I'm so happy that now I get to share it with all of you. So I'm going to read a chapter from that and then we'll call it a day. So tonight I'm going to read from chapter 2, titled Maybe Dating Will Help. Has it ever? Summer romance. A summer romance feels like what I need. I wish for sunset walks near the ocean, a kiss with someone who's real sweet to me, who looks my way and just can't help but grin. A summer romance feels so damn deserved. My body really wants some hands on it. I want to lay back, just get fucking served, let someone take care of me for a bit. A summer romance doesn't have to be the center of my life, just something fun. Some time under the clouds, two laughing free. It really doesn't have to be the one. I'm ordering up a summer romance. Just one request, someone who will slow dance. Small talk. Do you believe that small talk can exist where thunder is a thing easily found? I lit a candle, burned up all the lists. Turns out I knew the thunder by its sound. The estuary cannot be the sea. A calm pond only knows its tiny home. There is a broader version of my need. I cannot meet it with my hands alone. A thunderstorm at sea is perilous. The tallest ships are first to be struck down. I have no fear. The waves won't come for us. The lightning will miss. Thunder is just loud. Small talk is safe, but it lives on the shore. Sometimes the heart just wants a little more. The water in the well. I see the water down inside the well, so cool and blue and lucid as a dream. When I look at the water, it's my hell. Sometimes I feel like everyone agreed on what we have to do to haul buckets up to the surface so we can slake thirst. To someone like me, it all seems like luck. Not knowing how to get water's the worst. Not sure if it's that I'm too good or bad, too boring or too intimidating, too capable, too strong, too fucking rad. Wish water was rideshare, I'd get ratings. Who wrote the rules for drawing from the well? Do they feel chatty like they want to tell? Sit on back. I want to feel like I'm captivating, like I'm the only thing worth looking at. Don't want someone who craves me for mating. I won't deep clean your house, no thanks to that. I want your eyes to rest gently on me, because you seek the way I make you feel. Your eyes following where my hair falls free. Your heart convinced this might be something real. I want to be the one who gets approached. I hear I'm intimidating, I do, but that's just because this girl is the most, and I know myself all the damn way through. I think I'm gonna sit on back and wait. Let's see what wanders my way through the gate. Heat. A single bead of sweat born on my neck. Slow trails one finger gently down my spine. Each vertebra a hill, a little test. Each space between a sweet valley divine. From whose hand does this finger branch away? They stand out of sight, these eyes cannot see. I feel their touch on melting summer days. I do not have to seek, they come to me. A sudden shiver as the wind picks up. A cool breath whispers softly in my ear. Oh, come with me and sip the loving cup. There's room right next to me. Oh, come sit near. Breathe in, breathe out, a small pause in between. This is a new touch. Find out what it means. Butter, Part 2. Come, celebrate the warm afternoon light. It finds no barrier at the window. The sky yawns wide, jaw unleashes the bright. We're up so very high, soft grass below. The heat travels quite far to be with us. It yearns for light years, then it finds our skin. It rides here on a galactic school bus, sunbeams like children talkative within. Oh, please slather dripping sun like butter, whatever gods are in charge of these things. Make us sweat deeply into each other. Erase the memory of wedding rings. The afternoon is warming at our touch. Don't worry, there's a shady spot for us. Bubbles. The bubbles rise seemingly from nowhere. They crowd together as they seek surface. Air travels through water. While it is there, it shares that there are other worlds than this. Expanding outward in all directions, the bubbles join to form a common cause. They pool an oasis of connection. Now I can finally breathe, take a pause. Two bubbles soar above the rest of them, a spiraling dance racing in joy flight. A new thing growing, some new life within. The sweet man took me to see Rufus Wainwright. The water's not my home, it is the sky. Do I have company for when I fly? So that was chapter 2 from my recently self published book, Give It a Home. If you want a sweet signed copy that includes a couple cool stickers like you see on my microphone, please go check out my website, thelizziecoeshow.com, and hit the tab that says Give It a Home, and you can find a copy right there. I really appreciate everyone who joined today and listened to some poetry. It's great to have everybody here. If you like what you heard today, I do release these live sessions as a podcast, which you can also find on my website, thelizziecoeshow.com. So please check out that tab if you're interested in hearing past recordings. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Live with Lizzie. Bye.